matter. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing wherever you are today? Thank you indeed for being here on Story Time. Always a pleasure to be with you and indeed read books together and of course just remind ourselves of some of the little things that we can do to make our communities better. Are we asking for perfection? No, not at all. Not at all. None of us is perfect, but we can strive to do better. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And one of the key lines today will be also learning to be, graceful with yourself, learning to be patient with yourself, and indeed kind to yourself. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I am glad we are here. And yes, thankful for many things, including being here today. How has my morning been, you ask? Well, for one, my car couldn't start, so we'll see how that works out, and just waiting on AAA to come and solve issues. And but otherwise, I am happy to be here. I'm thankful that we're here together in this lovely community indeed, and we can continue to encourage each other, remind each other of important things, and also learn from each other, and also just enjoy each other's company. Thank you so much for being here. How are you where you are, and how is it going for you today? Out here in Oakland, weather-wise, right now, still a little bit cloudy. The fog is still around, but should be going away pretty soon. I didn't look at the weather, but just from if yesterday's anything to go by, then it should be clearing out a little bit later. Thank you so much for joining in. Where are you joining in from, and how is it where you are? Thank you so much for joining us today, and glad you are here. Today, we're on a quest, we're on a mission, and we're going out finding kindness. Thank you so much for joining in. And this one is coming to you from the amazing Deborah Underwood and illustrations by the equally amazing Irene Chan. Thank you so much for joining in. And this one we're reading with permission of Henry Holt and Company. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Storytime. Finding kindness is our goal today. Thank you for being here. Please stick around and enjoy, and of course, go grab that snack. Go grab everything that you need right now and sit back and relax as we enjoy our story for today. Thank you for being here indeed. Let us see who is with us this morning, ready for our story. Good morning to you, Sarah and Nathan. How are you doing today in partly cloudy and partly sunny Illinois? Oh, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for always those beautiful descriptions. Gives us a clear picture of what Illinois is like today. Thank you indeed for joining in. And of course, Amanda West as well, sending you love. Thank you for being here with us. Good morning to you. And thank you for being here on Storytime. One more time, Sarah and Nathan. And of course, Amanda West, thank you for joining us this morning. Hugs to you. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you. How are you doing out in Natchitoches, Louisiana? More rain today. Cloudy attitudes. So we need our Storytime fam this morning. Oh my goodness, it happens. Yes, it does. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning, everyone, from Braylon and Chad, of course. And of course, Pamela, Courtney. Thank you so much, Auntie Pam. And of course, Auntie Ann. Good morning to you as well, whether you're with us today right now or you'll be joining us later on. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. One more time, Braylon and Chad, how are you doing today? More rain in Nakitosh, Louisiana. Please do stay dry and, of course, enjoy your day. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Story Time. Thank you. Good morning to you, Soraya. How are you doing today? And, of course, Sharon Lungo joining us right here in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining in today. Glad we're here together, ready for another story. Please get comfortable, get cozy, as we'll be getting started with our story for today very, very shortly. And did you say, what are we reading today? Oh, yes, indeed. We are reading Finding Kindness. This one from Deborah Underwood and Irene Chan. And, of course, Henry Holt and company. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Join in this mission. Let's go find kindness together. Thank you for being here. Join me on the other side of this short break, and then we'll be getting started with our story. But before then, good morning to you. Clara and Erin, you're on vacation in Vermont. Supposed to be rainy all day. Well, I hope it lets up a little bit, so it gives you some time to visit all the cool spots, to indeed be outside as well sometime. Thank you so much for joining in. Tara McNamara, thank you for joining us. Actually, as you might know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was actually in Vermont over just a couple of weeks ago, over the summer, and it was lovely. I was in Burlington and got to visit, oh my goodness, a few other places. I'm blanking out on the names. And got to meet amazing people as well from the Storytime community. If you may remember Angela Kunko. Yes, met up with Angela Kunko. And of course, Bolden and Chrissy Mitchell-Adams as well. It was fun times all around. So yes, indeed, love it. Have fun out there in Vermont. And Tara McNamara, for you, let's see. I think it's called Ground Zero Brewery. Check it out. It is an awesome place. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today, and welcome. Or indeed, what part of Vermont are you visiting? Thank you for being here, and welcome to Storytime. Join me on the other side of this short break. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime today.
How you doing? This is Jonathan Marshall. I'm author of the books I'll Be Right There, Does It Rain Food, and also on the way, Me and My Kazoo at the Zoo. And you're here with Storytime with Mr. Lamata.
Oh, yes, indeed. Jonathan Marshall has brought us amazing books, including Does It Rain Food? And, of course, Me and My Kazoo at the Zoo, which is out right now, too. It is out by this time. So, indeed, do find him where you find books. Check out his books right here on Storytime and see what they're all about. Amazing books. And I bet you will be going to that bookstore right after. Thank you so much for joining in today. Finding kindness is our mission today. And this one is from Deborah Underwood and illustrations by Irene Chan. And of course, being read with permission of Henry Holt and company. Thank you so much for being here. Let us see how this one helps us this morning. Thank you for being here. Finding kindness. Here we go. Oh. Finding kindness. And of course, it is from Deborah Underwood and Irene Chan. And we're reading this one with permission of Henry Holt and company. Oh. Kindness is sometimes a cup and a card. It is indeed. Kindness is sometimes a cup and a card. Oh. Aww. Or a ladder, a truck, and a tree. A scritch and a cuddle. Oh. Kindness is sometimes a cup and a card. And sometimes, well, a ladder, a truck, and a tree. A scritch and a cuddle. Oh. A rake and a yard. Oh, yes, indeed. Kindness can be a rake and a yard. A cookie. Oh, a carrot. Or a key. Yeah. Kindness can be a cookie, a carrot, or a key. Oh. It's seeds and a feeder. It's seeds and a feeder. Or a seat on the train. Yeah. Oh. Kindness can be seeds and a feeder. Or indeed a seat on the train. Oh. How are we going to show kindness today? Or maybe look out for it. Find kindness in your community. Oh, this is the page. Can we see it clearly? There we go. Knew I'd get it there sometime. Kindness can be a daisy, a peach, a pie, a wave at a baker, a boost on a crane, a sandwich shared in the sky. Oh. Kindness, so many things. Yeah, can be a daisy, a peach, or a pie, a wave at a baker, a boost on a crane, a sandwich shared in the sky. Can speak to it, but there's a famous picture of workmen way back in time. Can't remember what year, but sitting up in the air on a crane like that. Probably some inspiration from that. But yeah, a boost on a crane, a sandwich shared in the sky, a wave to a baker, a wave to a neighbor. Yes, indeed. Oh, what else? Kindness is sometimes a tip in a case. Yes, or a tap when a lace is untied. Ah, don't you appreciate those moments? Sometimes I remember one time I think I had forgotten to zip up my backpack. I went through the train, went through all the places, and got to where I was going, and my backpack was still open. Nobody had told me. Oh. But indeed, it is kindness. Is sometimes a tip in a case, or a tap when a lace is untied, or when a zipper is left open. It's taking a photo or making some space. Oh, yes, indeed. It's taking a photo or making some space. Yes, we share this world with others. Let's make some space. And also, let's make welcoming spaces, right? It's a racket, a rocket, a ride. Oh, yes, indeed. Kindness is a racket, a rocket, a ride. It's dirt and a shovel, petunias and pails. It's trees that will someday give shade. Yes. Mm-hmm. Kindness. It's trees that will someday give shade. It's plans and a hammer. It's lumber and nails. It's plans and a hammer. It's lumber and nails. It's houses and cold lemonade. Ah. And that's always the thing too. We can all help in our own ways. Everybody brings a different skill set, which is still valuable. Yes, it's houses and cold lemonade. It's plans and a hammer. It's lumber and nails. Yes, indeed. What else? Oh. Kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad. How about that? So true. Kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad. Forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake or forgiving a friend who got mad. Yeah. Kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad. Forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake or forgiving a friend who got mad. Yeah. Kindness is indeed all those things. It's cuddling puppies. It's holding a door. It's a toy and a treat and a calm. It's seeing the animals others ignore. It's a toy and a treat and a calm. It's seeing the animals others ignore. It's a leash and a lick and a home. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. It's seeing the animals others ignore. It's a leash and a lick and a home. Ah. Yes, it is. Kindness is sometimes a song or a stick or a hi and a bat and a ball. Yes, indeed. Kindness is sometimes a hi. How are you doing today? It's a song, a stick, well, a bat and a ball. Yes, it is. It's soup when a neighbor is sneezy and sick. Oh, yes. It's soup when a neighbor is sneezy and sick. Mhm. Or a scoop if one happens to fall. Oh, yes, indeed. Kindness is soup when a neighbor is sneezy and sick. Or a scoop if one happens to fall. Oh, how beautiful is that? It's reading a story. Oh, it's feeding a fish. It's a bucket, a book, and a yard. Oh, yes. It's reading a story. It's feeding a fish. It's a bucket, a book, and a yard. Oh. Yes, it is. It's kissing a sister. Aww. It's wishing a wish. Yes. It's kissing a sister. It's wishing a wish. Oh. It's a bug and a cup and a card. Oh, yes. It's a bug and a cup and a card. And that is the end of our story today. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Join me on the other side of this short break.
This is Anika Mrose-Reese, author of The Teacher's Pet, Watch Out for Wolf, Love Sophia on the Moon, the Anna Banana chapter book series, and Hide and Don't Seek and other very scary stories. And you are watching Storytime with Mr. Lamata.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed this A lovely book indeed that we had today. Reminders of little ways that we see kindness in our neighborhood. And you don't have to do anything extra. It's probably the things that you're already doing. You're doing amazing things. Yes, remember that time when you say thank you this morning, when you say please? That is kindness, and so many ways that we see it, that it shows up in our communities. And may we also be ones that indeed do show it and do partake in bringing kindness to our communities. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And I think my pick, of course, is just going back, like I said earlier. I think this part I love the most, and I just wanted to really read it over again and just I think one of them there for sure says kindness is a high, and that is very important. But also forgiving ourselves, right? Forgiving ourselves when we've made a mistake. And now I can't find it. Of course that I want it. Where are you? Let me find it, and we'll read it again very, very shortly. I will find it. Yes, I did. Yeah, here it says, kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad. You don't have to say anything. Just sit with them. Just listen sometimes. Or just be in a shared space, of course, if they want you there. Forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake, or forgiving a friend who got mad. And sometimes, when we're mad at people and they've made a mistake, usually they know it and they're already feeling bad. So it doesn't help when we then compound it with our own anger towards them. But yes, I hope that indeed that encourages us today to go in our day and hopefully with smiles, and indeed also just remember to be kind to yourself. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you on our quest for kindness today. That one came to you from Deborah Underwood and Irene Chan, and of course it was read with permission of Henry Holt and Company. Thank you so much for joining in. But tomorrow, please do join in. We bring back the king of perspectives, and tomorrow we'll be looking at Brendan Wenzel's A Stone Sat Still. Join me for this one, coming to you from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, coming back to Storytime for the second time, but definitely not the last time. Thank you so much for being here. Let us see who was with us this morning, enjoying that lovely story. Thank you. Good morning to you, Catherine. Good to see you. Thank you for being here on Storytime. And you say, hello, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And indeed it was. What a lovely story to start the day. Indeed. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Irene. And Irene, again, I have to say, thank you for all the amazing recommendations you've given us over time. It has just been lovely enjoying those stories and, of course, bringing them and sharing them with the Storytime community. Thank you so much for being here. Marietta and Henry, how are you doing? Good to see you out in Harvard, Massachusetts. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good to see you here with us, Henry. I hope the summer has been great and indeed getting ready for school. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it. How was art camp? Thank you for joining in today. I hope it was a blast. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it. Yes, indeed, being soft with others and ourselves. Yes, good things all around. Thank you so much for sharing, Catherine, and absolutely love it that you're here with us. Good morning to you, Betty Graydon. Good to see you on the live. Thank you for all the support. I always see you on the recordings. Thank you so much for joining in out in Florida. Good morning to you, Betty Graydon. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you. Pamela Courtney say, attitude clouds parting, seeing smiles. Yes. So glad we made it today. Absolutely. Please be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and indeed be kind to our communities as well, our neighbors. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. You know what? One step at a time, and I love it. Thank you. Love that there's smiles out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana today. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. You're making my smile even wider today. Thank you indeed, Praylin and Chad, and of course, Pamela Courtney. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good morning to you one more time. How are you doing, Soraya, right here in Oakland? Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Appreciations to you. And of course, Tara McNamara, enjoy your vacation in Vermont. Of course, with Clara and Irene. Enjoy it. And it's supposed to be rainy today, but I hope indeed that you do get some breaks where you can go outside and indeed enjoy the day. Hopefully great views all around. Thank you so much for joining in. Sarah and Nathan, thank you as well for joining in story time today. Appreciations to you. And I do hope indeed that you do have a lovely day. Yes. Partly cloudy, partly sunny. Yes, let's lean in on the sunny side of things today. Thank you so much for joining in story time. Remember that we're back tomorrow. A stone sat still. This one coming to you from Brendan Wanzel. Join us tomorrow, and of course, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. But today, our mission is done. Mission complete. And we went on our quest and we found kindness. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks to Deborah Underwood and Irene Chan, and of course Henry Holt for allowing us to share this material right here on Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Good to see all the familiar faces back, and indeed all the new faces as well. Much love to you. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And we're back again tomorrow for more Storytime. And remember, too, if you missed Storytime, catch the recording at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and indeed catch it at your own convenience anytime in our archives at Storytime with Mr. Limada on Facebook and YouTube, as well as storytimewithmrlimada.com. Thank you so much for being here. Much love from me. See you again in the morning. Bye-bye.
Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Limada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to hear it. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to hear it.